are back, and it's episode 28, and this time it is all about pigmentation. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Gloria.
And we are the chemists behind Chemist Confessions, and this podcast is just having a human conversation about skincare science.
Over a few drinks. So what are we having today?
Yeah, today it's my treat. I am treating Gloria to Bitburger.
Bitburger.
A tall boy, because it's Friday.
It is Friday, and also this saves our editing buddy AJ from clipping videos of me awkwardly opening a second can in the background.
I found a way, AJ. Also celebrating because Gloria is actually a big soccer fan, so I figured what better way to get her into the mood of soccer this year.
New soccer season. I'm ready for tears and anger and
exactly.
disappointment.
She just needs some comfort because, Gloria, what team do you root for?
I've been following Tottenham Hotspur for the past, 7-8 years. I've seen it struggle. I've seen it rise to new heights. I've seen it fall back into the pit. So I am ready.
Yep. So anyways, a little fun fact about Gloria. Otherwise, we're going to just get right into it with a brand update. So yeah. In terms of brand update, we should talk about Mr. Reliable because yeah, there's still no news on what's going on with Mr. Reliable. And why is that, Gloria?
Because, well, the good news is by the time this episode comes out, we should be wrapping up with our Hatchery study.
Yes.
We've been working on this Gen 2 of Mr. Reliable for such a long time. So we came up with the updated actives list really fast. We knew we were going to face some challenges just because it's an updated list, and we are more aggressive in terms of how many things we do want to incorporate in this new formula.
Yeah.
We really want to amp up the barrier function aspect of the base, and in that, Victoria and I were very smart. We're like, let's do 2 different bases and dual path this thing.
Yes, and so in the study, we had all our Hatchery participants compare it. Basically, they would just replace their moisturizing step with one of the formulas. And yeah, we'll definitely stay tuned. We will be releasing those results and just sharing everybody's experience. So,
yeah.
Otherwise...
Oh, I was going to say, we also, other than Mr. Reliable, surprise, we are also working on a few other things. One of them being a retinol product, and fall is coming, so that should be coming soon too. So look forward to that. We are really proud of that one. We've been working on it for the longest time.
Over 2 years.
2 years, and we had quite a few tests done on it. So yes.
Yeah, can't wait. Yeah. And otherwise, with that, we are going to end on some nice words. We actually have a few nice words this week. We're just feeling very positive today.
Yeah, we got this email from our friend Eugene, who participated in our latest Chemist Recommended. Yeah. And I love this. She said, yo, whoever is designing your packaging needs a raise and a promotion. It's Victoria.
Thank you so much. That means so much because, Gloria says it's me, but, it's really just the thought child of us too. And what we like personally. So I think that, I don't know, it just means a lot. It's nice validation because we're definitely not designers by trade.
No,
so.
all the packaging you see, a lot of it came from us going to Home Depot and getting a bunch of paint cards. And we're like, oh, does this gray have an undertone of blue?
Yeah. And a lot of times it's like, I'll bring something to Gloria, and Gloria will she'll be like, And then, it's like a back and forth, kind of like how our book went. And I'm just glad that other people enjoy it. It means so much.
Yeah. And she goes on to say, also, the Specialist is wanted in Blemish Land for comedone infanticide.
Yes. That's the goal.
That is the goal. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for awesome products. We are enjoying them.
Thanks, Eugene.
Thank you. And also the Blemish Land comment is awesome.
We also got a really cool comment about Blank Slate Cleanser. This is a recent review. The title is amazing. She writes, I've tried many cleansers and I'm always worried about breaking out. I'm so happy I found one without cocoa betaine, as that makes my acne angry. This does a really good job of removing everyday makeup and sunscreen. Honestly, my skin has never been cleaner. My face also isn't an oily blob when I wake up in the morning too. For reference, super oily acne prone skin, age 29. Good price point too for the size in comparison to other big brands.
Yes, and that's exactly why we chose the surfactant system that we did. Cocoa betaine, don't get us wrong, is a fantastic surfactant, but it's so common that it makes it kind of hard for people who, exactly as this reviewer said, have issues with it to navigate away from it. So
makes us happy. Hard work is paying off.
Last nice word we have is we have
font is tiny.
Sorry guys. We have a DM from Katie who said, just a little message to let you know that I'm a huge fan. I absolutely love Skincare Decoded and am recommending it to my family and friends. I participated in the chemist recommended product purchase and love my customized results.
Yes.
Lastly, I admire that you relay information in a way that focuses on the ingredients and not on specific products, even your own. It seems counterintuitive to business principles. It is. It really is. Yet somehow you're doing it successfully. It is such a refreshing perspective and approach. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
People get us.
I know.
They're getting us, Gloria.
I also feel called out. Like, you're right. It's very counterintuitive to business. We have so many times we have meetings.
It's true.
We meet people. They're like, I didn't even know you guys make products. We're like, I know, we're pretty bad at promoting it.
Yeah, they're always like, y'all don't sell yourself enough. And I'm like, we have these like existential questions that we always end up in discussion, usually over a few drinks of like, as like chemists and people in science, we're just like, these are the facts, and it does kind of go against that like business culture of selling yourself.
Right.
So we're still working on it. I'm glad that people can appreciate that aspect of us. And I feel like we just really take transparency to like another level in terms of just being brutally honest.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And thanks for liking the book.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So we're going to jump right into it with our next segment. It's In the News.
What's going on?
Well, Yahoo Finance just released a statement and just want to share with everyone. The title is, the global skincare products market is expected to grow by $50 billion just between 2021 and 2025. So it's just a projection. They usually like to, every year, they, kind of talk about the health and growth of cosmetics, and clearly skincare is not going away. There's definitely, like, just within the price tag, you're gonna see a lot more, I would say, growth and just new brands. A lot of it they kind of talk about is due to like at-home spa care, probably with COVID, with me time, and also just like, not being able to see your esthetician. They do attribute that growth to that. So yeah, anyways.
I'm curious. I'm also curious how color cosmetics is gonna go.
Yeah.
I feel like being at home so much recently, a lot of my makeup's probably dried up and should be replaced soon. Yeah. And like I almost feel like an urge of like this, I don't know, just like going out clothes and new makeup, but where am I going? I don't know.
I think that's a good point, because I was looking at, so I recently went to a wedding and I was looking at like lipstick. Also, it felt very weird like wanting to put on lipstick because, and the wedding was in Hawaii, and like to want to put lipstick on while you still have to cover a mask is like a little gnarly. But when I was looking at my lipstick, you're right. Like I was looking at it, I was like, oh, is this shade outdated? Like, maybe this isn't the right tone right now, and I don't really have a good sense.
Yeah, me either.
No, that's a good point. All right, what else we got?
All right, next, there's a company called Elysium, and EWG is coming out with the Science First skincare line. Okay. The whole Jew pitchforks. This is not the environmental working group. It is a company called Elite World Group. I believe they're a marketing data firm. So yeah,
I'm sorry, that's a really unfortunate acronym.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought when I saw the headline, the double take, I'm like, excuse me. But I think I'm always happy to hear that there are more people who are taking the science forward
Yes.
approach. Curious to see execution, and this is what
Always.
yeah, and actually, honestly, that's why, like, I think a lot of our fellow people who do scientific communication on social media, they get very frustrated by the clean beauty movement, which we totally understand. But a lot of times, I do feel like it's about the industry, consumers, and people like us finding the balance of, okay, there is a drive to know better and do better. How do we get there? So it's just going to take some time.
Yep, totally true. Agreed.
Next, the CFDA, the Chinese FDA, has a huge update on their regulations.
Huge. Sorry. Dated reference.
Oh, thankfully, yes. But there's a lot that goes into it. They're still in the works of phasing out animal testing, so on and so forth. But something that just kind of caught my eye from like the long list of new regulation is they have explicitly banned CBD and any CBD adjacent products, which is not surprising.
Yeah, it's on brand.
Yeah.
With their government policy.
Yeah. Also, if you leave the States, leave North America. Well, if you go to Asia, the feelings of CBD
Very
and CBD
different.
related products, just yeah.
I did want to also say I found it really fascinating that they are starting to require clinical data with some of these brands that are being registered. And I think that's, while the CFDA does get a lot of flack for some of the other things, that is something that I do appreciate because, they're clearly looking for, like, does your claims actually hold up in what form or fashion? So definitely that deserves brownie points.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, next,
let's try to wrap up the news section with some new launches.
Yeah.
CosRX has I don't know if the whole lip line is new. I never noticed their lip products before, but they have
That's new to me too.
Yeah, so they have quite a few new lip products, and one of them is a lip plump. They call it the lip plump with AHA, BHA, vitamin C, so on and so forth.
I see. Go on. I'm interested.
And the ingredient is petrolatum, hydrogenated polyisobutene, phytosterol, yada yada yada, shea butter, and then
Is that in there twice?
it is in there twice. I copy and paste it and write this myself.
Fancy that.
And then towards the end, you will have your I can't find it. I can't find the AHA, BHA, and vitamin C.
We're looking. Oh, magnesium ascorbophosphate.
At the very end. Yes. Some extracts that may or may not contain. Anyway, the point of the story is, I think we're happy that AHA, BHA is now like part of most people's vocabulary, that it's like a trendy word
that they want to put in their name.
Right. So, moral story is you don't necessarily need to peel your lips. Actually, please don't do that.
Yeah.
With actual high levels of, say, AHAs.
The skin is quite thin in comparison to your average face skin, so not necessary.
Definitely not necessary, but I just find it mildly humorous that now it's like also advertising lip products. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh, good to know. FYI out there. And then finally, this is like more for fun for Gloria. I found this article. And yes, I did. I fell for the clickbait. The title is, wait, should we be applying nighttime skincare before or after sex? Sorry, guys. I'm getting a little,
Who's asking this question?
Yeah, no one asked about this, okay? But for some reason, there's this article, and they actually do interview a derm. And it's not even about the before or after sex timing part. It's this specific line that I had to share with Gloria. The derm, who will not be named, says, skin renewal and rejuvenation starts around 11 p.m. with peak melatonin levels. So aim to have all your nighttime skin routine done by 9 to 10 p.m. That's it. You get a 1 hour window, apparently, to apply your skincare.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this, Gloria?
Cool, you do that. And also, I find the whole premise so funny. Like, what if the answer is, oh, get it done before? It's like, hey, babe, you want to go? Hold up, I need my vitamin C mask.
Also, what if it's during the 9 to 10 p.m. hour and you're like, excuse me.
Okay, just hurry up. We gotta go.
Yeah, time out. One sec.
Okay, now go.
Yeah, so again, like it's more tongue in cheek. It's for fun. I just want to just clear the air. If you also read this too, your skin, you do not have to apply skincare in a very specific window of time. They don't even reference like what time zone. Like, so
when you travel, what do you do?
Yeah,
you gotta take your like melatonin level. Be like, oh my god, optimal melatonin. Can't have sex, must go to sleep. Streak mask on.
Yeah, I can guarantee you this is not a well proven theory by any means, and so I don't want you to worry too much about time frame.
I actually think like that goes in general with like kind of kooky, really extra kooky regimented suggestions. Like, you have to wait at least 35 minutes between products. Like, no, like things like that aren't really based on real science. But if you want as I don't know.
You were gonna say as an excuse? Oh my god.
Actually, I feel like that's just gonna be a funny. Yeah, I don't even know. They would react to that, but babe, my melatonin level I
take it as people are starting to get so into skincare. This is like how meticulous people are getting, like they want to know exact time points and they're setting their Apple Watches to go off and tell them. But,
sexy. Actually, I really like the line from the article. It's like, oh, like you don't want like the motion to like rub anything off on the sheets or on your partner.
On your partner. Unless you want your partner to start wearing skincare.
Anyway, great find.
Yeah.
The questions people ask.
Yeah, great. So anyways, that's a little bit of the news. We are going to get into the meat because today it's also a very juicy topic, because by the time this rolls around, this will be starting to get into fall, and what perfect time to get into pigmentation.
Yep. So we always say when the sun isn't so bright, when weather's getting a little cooler, it is time to really, really tackle that hyperpigmentation. And let's be real, new freckles that may have developed, which, by the way, if you're like Gloria, I am prone to developing new freckles and new moles. Definitely try to get your annual skin just mapped out and looked at quickly by dermatologists. I am overdue, as I will report back with findings.
Yes. I mean, we should all. You should have an annual checkup with your derm, monitor new moles, check out that pigmentation. Yeah, it's a good time to check in.
Yep. So, we get questions on hyperpigmentation a lot. So, we're going to rededicate an episode to it. So first things first, we're going to do a very, very quick 5-second biology. So basically, your melanin, the pigments are produced by your melanocytes, which is in the dermis, and they are shaped like fingers. And factors like hormones and, of course, UV ray and other stressors can cause as a trigger. It does regularly produce melanin, but those other outside triggers may cause it to go out of whack. And they make the melanin produce package, and it sends out in their tendrils to the upper layers of skin, and that melanin becomes visible. So a lot of your hyperpigmentation products, they can we always really like covering the biology because it places a lot of logic to your skincare routine.
Yes.
So UV rays causes melanocytes to produce extra melanin. So
as a defensive mechanism, actually, for UV damage. Yeah.
Right. So the biggest way to tackle that pathway is sunscreen and antioxidants too, to prevent inflammation and
free radical, kind of the symptoms of free radical generation.
Yeah, exactly. And then once if it's already in overdrive, other active ingredients, they tackle how fast that melanin is produced to help take it back down a notch. So generally speaking, that is how that works. Now, we get a lot of questions, too, about the difference between, say, melasma, sunspots, and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. The reality is, whatever you may have, the topical products you use don't really change. If there's like a more specific treatment in terms of, let's say, a laser therapy or deeper peel, something more targeted for your concern, that's definitely an in-office thing. Most diagnosis definitely requires an in-person derm office visit.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think, like, just to kind of vary between, I feel like if anything, melasma definitely is a little bit outside the general cosmetic realm, and where, like, at that point, you may really need to seek a derm out to tackle melasma in general, but then, like, PIH, sunspots, and even melasma as well, the topicals that are given, those actives are the same. It's just different concentrations, different cocktails.
And also have a professional kind of like keep up with your progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just so you know,
that's a good point.
Unfortunately, a little PSA on gold standard hydroquinone.
Yeah.
Hydroquinone will no longer be available as an OTC product.
Yeah.
So a quick reminder, there's cosmetic products, which is just kind of free-for-all ingredients.
Yeah.
OTC products are your sunscreen, acne, and skin lightening. Usually you'll see that, just refer to your sunscreen label. They'll have that active ingredient sheets. Those are OTC
the drug
products.
facts.
Yep. And then there's prescription only. Hydroquinone in the US is now firmly moved to the prescription only category. So unfortunately, we won't be spending a lot of time on hydroquinone this episode just because it's not available to most of you anymore.
And I did want to add, you know, as much as the legislation makes it sound like it's because it's dangerous and toxic and all that, we want you to know that it is truly deserves its gold standard label because it does have the most data behind it in tackling hyperpigmentation. So I definitely don't want people to feel like, oh, like when you do, you know, you're doing your research, you're looking into hydroquinone, like don't be too afraid by what you read and what's being said out there.
Right.
It's annoying.
Ooh, the beer.
Yeah. All right.
Next. Before we dive into then what can you do from just non-prescription care, I do want to set everyone's expectations that unfortunately...
Gloria's about to be the bearer of bad news. I'm
sorry.
Just kidding.
I'm sorry. But it's true.
It is.
Unfortunately, it is not your imagination. It is incredibly hyperpigmentation of any form is a very, very persistent problem.
Yeah.
And if you're the skin type, and it can happen to anyone of any skin tone, but if you're prone to develop hyperpigmentation, it's just something you have to manage for forever. And it takes a long time to see results, and you're just going to have to keep up with good habits. I want to highlight it.
I think I was going to also say part of the struggle is also like it takes longer to battle it than the seasons, and by the time you're like already trekking into summer, your like skin is just starting to like show that efficacy, and then now you gotta like protect yourself from, you know, extra sun during the summer and springtime. And so that's why it's like it just doesn't get along well with the season.
Not at all. I really want to highlight this this problem with a study. I found a study where the result says they tested a product that says that 32%. This product was used for 12 weeks. So note that in these type of studies, they use it twice a day rigorously for 12 whole weeks, and then at the end it says 57% of the subjects show at least a moderate response.
At least.
17% did not improve, and 3% got worse after their treatment. And the conclusion was, this was a well-tolerated and effective cream. So that just kind of tells you like what kind of data people are expecting to see when it comes to pigmentation. It's personal, and expect moderate results. So
yeah, and I feel like this is pretty prevalent with all of the pigmentation data. It's in some ways I feel like it's similar to eye creams where it's like it doesn't sound promising, but even to get a marked improvement is already a win. So do think of it like that.
Right. Yeah. So just setting everyone's expectation as the end of my bad news bearing.
Yeah.
So
now we're going to talk about actual help.
Okay. So, when I was putting the meat together for this episode, I was very confused. Like, I'm not sure what's the most helpful.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we've been doing this for so long that we're not a good average consumer per se. So I decided to go shopping. Went on Sephora, Derm Store, went to CVS, and just start filtering products by They all have a skin concern filter button. So checked off like uneven skin tone, dark spot to see what kind of products come up. And we realized that it's really confusing.
I was going to just say, I was like, did you find it confusing while you're shopping? Because I found that people say like brightening, even tone, dark spot correcting. You know, it's like the actual descriptions are all very broad, and I think that it would be hard for an average person to shop and be like, I don't know if this actually targets my pigmentation concerns.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, the claims are absurd and all over the place. And then the products themselves, from a chemist perspective, is incredibly diverse. So the top products you'll find, let's say in Sephora, you'll find a glycolic toner that's next to a retinol, and then there's a vitamin C serum, which are like very different products all around, and the way you use them are different too. But they're all Sephora isn't wrong in classifying them as hyperpigmentation helpers, but at the same time, like, when you put your routine together, it's very daunting.
Yeah, and I think just to add a layer of complexity is the mechanism of these ingredients are not all well studied or proven. Gloria and I, when we wrote the pigmentation chapter, we tried to break down and put some logic to the ingredients and like what actually is more of prevention protection, what actually targets like tyrosinase inhibition to prevent the melanin production, you know, and what actually is trying to intercept like the melanin deposits, you know. So that, but even that for us is generally a loose interpretation because that usually takes multiple studies to prove, and that's why it's all very confusing.
Yeah, it's a hot mess. So I decided to kind of like maybe like break it down a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
You'll see generally speaking, two different types of products. The ones are the ones I just mentioned. They're the single champion products. Yeah. So they're the ones that will say retinol products tend to have just retinol, maybe one or two supporting ingredients. There are your chemical exfoliants. You'll find your glycolic toners and like lactic acid serums here.
Makes sense.
Vitamin C, ferulic combos, and different vitamin C derivatives are also in this bucket. And you have new kind of ingredients that's caught people's eyes, like azelaic acid and arbutin.
Yep.
And then you have combination therapies. These are your classic Lighteras and SkinCeuticals, discoloration defense, Murad dark spot corrector. I think Clinique has a few dark spot correctors.
Obagi got theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the ones that will tout that they have at least 3, 4, 5 different actives, and
I would say also garners a higher price tag.
Yes, so a lot of them are in the at least $60, if not $150 range.
Yeah.
So it can be really confusing. So we'll try to break it down for you guys really fast here. So first of all, we really want to highlight, and I should have brought this book. I try to help you guys do this in the book. Towards the end of the book, there is a routine section. We try to give pretty simple routine guidances to play some logic in the routine.
Yeah.
So before anything else, SPF. Please do it. Wear your sunscreen.
Or else what's the point?
Yes, what's the point?
Your skin's going to keep, making melanin deposits and continue that pigmentation production. So if you don't do that, then don't even try. Don't even spend the money on this.
Yeah, so it's definitely, so UV rays is the go. Whatever type of hyperpigmentation you have, the sun makes it worse. So definitely wear your sunscreen. And if, as Victoria said, if you don't do it, there's no point spending the $150 on Lightera.
And I also just want to remind people, if you didn't watch our acne episode, it's also the same for acne lesions. You're wondering why, your acne lesion is now a flat surface, but you're seeing that, darker halo, and if you don't use sunscreen, it will just get darker and it will make it that much more difficult to fade. So that too, I just want to remind you guys, like, it is really important to actually tackling the skin concern.
Yeah, just do it. And we really want to highlight a very basic beginner's routine if you have pigmentation problems.
Yeah.
Let's say you've never really used any anti-hyperpigmentation products or anything. Make sure you do these first. So we will say vitamin C in the morning, definitely sunscreen, some sort of AHA or chemical exfoliant at night. This is, if you've never used these products before, just this basic routine alone, you will see a, generally speaking, brighter complexion.
More even tone.
Yeah, wouldn't big on this to erase dark spots, but it will definitely give you a bit of that glow back. And incidentally, it's also a good maintenance routine all around.
Yes. And I did want to call out, there's actually even a study done on regarding AHAs and incorporating into your routine, where they looked at comparing 8% glycolic and 8% lactic acid. And even with an 8% lactic acid used nightly, they've shown that it does help with reducing hyperpigmentation. So it just incorporating that into your routine nightly, not only is it great for tackling, or just building a good pigmentation routine, but it's just generally a great routine all around, just to make sure that cell turnover is on a healthy cycle. So.
Yeah, so we can go to that shop page and you filter by uneven skin tone. Easy. Yeah, pick up a chemical exfoliant and pick up a vitamin C serum. Yeah. And refer back to those episodes for which ones we recommend. Retinoids might get a little complicated, so I'll get back to that. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Yeah. So that's the basic routine. Now, if you want to add a bit more complexity to your routine and add a combination therapy, it is recommended. Yes. Honestly, hyperpigmentation is a full routine problem, and it's also like a throw a lot of things at the wall and see what sticks problem.
I mean, we discussed it in the beginning. You have to look at different stages of pigmentation to tackle, to really start seeing those benefits. This is why I don't really believe a single active tackling pigmentation is really gonna get those benefits that you're looking for. It's similar to acne. You got different pillars that you need to take down, and that's why a cocktail is the best approach.
Right. So, shopping tip numero uno when buying a cocktail is, as I mentioned, it's chemical exfoliant is very helpful. These brands know that. So some of the cocktails actually have AHAs already in it. So, for example, Murad's Rapid Dark Spot Corrector has glycolic acid in combination with tranexamic acid. It's like a weaker version of the gold standard. And so Glytone also has a glycolic plus azelaic acid. SkinCeuticals Discoloration Serum combines tranexamic acid with kojic acid, niacinamide, and their proprietary molecule Hep B, which is actually also an exfoliant. So the point is, when you're shopping for it, it's not bad that these products already have that exfoliating factor built into it. You could still layer, let's say, your glycolic toner or serum with it, but just be aware that you are layering, and maybe when you start out on the serum, tone it down a little bit and just make sure you don't over exfoliate.
I think that's such a great point. And I was going to ask Gloria, we've got all these cocktails going on. All of these are actually quite strong in combination. Can you give some advice on how to approach introducing the serum into your routine? Is there anything they should look out for in combo?
Yeah, so these are so I will always place the ones with glycolic serum on the more aggressive end, just because it comes with that chemical exfoliation. Like a lot of treatments, I will introduce at night. Every other day first, just to see if there's any irritation. I do find that these serums tend to be less irritating than, say, a retinol. Yes. When you're starting out these, they're not as likely to irritate you than with a retinol. And then after that, a lot of them are also tested for twice a day usage. But make sure your sunscreen habits are up to standards with that. So that will be my tip.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break from pigmentation. We're going to break up this dense science with our Claims Corner.
Woo!
Yeah, so with our Claims Corner, we just like to kind of poke fun at a little bit of the marketing communication that you might see. Also, it will help you as you are browsing products, just to see how a chemist would, read some of these claims. And I absolutely have to talk about this one because Gloria and I, when we always talk about Chemist Confessions and why we started it, it's because usually we kind of feel like serums use like a dash of some very exotic extract. And Gloria loves to joke about these stories that come with it. And I just have the perfect one that I think Gloria will enjoy. So, La Prairie just launched their Pure Gold line. And the bottle is absolutely gorgeous. It is a fat yellow, like gold, solid, like it's not solid gold, but gold brushed metal bottle. And I'm just going to read Gloria the details of this formula. It's their Pure Gold Radiance Concentrate. And it starts with, when the sun's rays sweep across the Swiss mountain faces, it is a moment when beauty imposes itself undeniable. That sentence doesn't make sense. It is an instant that emits an understated resplendence. Good SAT word. A radiance like no other. Fleeting. It is the hour when beauty is elevated to grace. The grace of the golden hour in the crown of the Alps. I could keep going. Would you like me to keep going?
Yes, yes,
gold.
yes.
All right. Inspired by this fleeting moment, La Prairie seeks to recreate its unique radiance and impart it to the skin, imbuing it with resplendence as if lit from within. One rare, immutable ingredient can transmit this undeniable beauty, gold. A noble metal, its warm, flattering luster withstands the passage of time, remaining persisting. I don't know where the sentence is going. It's just, that's it. That's the end of the sentence. It bestows the radiance in glowing waves.
Ew.
A generous serum, Pure Gold Radiance Concentrate provides immediate and long-term benefits to the skin for an unprecedented glow. The formula, infused with the Pure Gold diffusion system, is designed to smooth the skin and refine its texture to revitalize its appearance and help even skin tone.
Wow.
So that could not be like more the classic like marketing story that comes with the price tag is $850 serum.
God damn.
And on the website, if you are curious enough, they actually show a picture of the Swiss Alps and during the golden hour, just because, gold is the theme. And so I had to share, like, that is just the atypical marketing story that comes with an over $800 price tag serum.
We haven't done the Price is Right series in a while, but my metric I usually call out is if you can buy a PlayStation, it's probably not worth it. This is you can buy a PS5 off the black market pricing. Definitely not worth it. And also, if you can get if you can get a laser session or two in, 1,000% not worth it.
You could get a whole treatment with that price tag.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you should instantly feel like a red flag when you read a description and you have no idea what it's talking about. I have no clue what it's trying to say.
Unprecedented glow, Victoria.
Imbuing my skin with what?
In waves. In waves, I say.
For what? Yeah. So anyways, I just had to share this. If you have tried this, had been gifted this, and you think we should change, our minds should be changed, please let us know, because I am so curious that aside from making your vanity table look like a baller, I don't get it. Yeah. So anyways, that's our Claims Corner today.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned an SAT vocab word or two.
In the theme of pigmentation, not worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right, let's get back to pigmentation. We're going to designate this whole spotlight on arbutin, right, Gloria?
Yep. So what we wrapped up is on combination therapies,
Yes.
and when we were doing research on that, we found that recently, what seems to be super popular across all these brands are tranexamic acid, azelaic acid, and arbutin. We have an episode basically dedicated to tranexamic and azelaic acid.
Sorry.
So check out the episode here, and that's why I decided to take a closer look at arbutin.
Let's do it.
I'm pretty sure the ingredient became really popular also because of The Ordinary. They have a 2% serum that's basically just arbutin.
Insolvent.
Yeah, they have one that's arbutin, and they have one that's like 2% arbutin with 8% L-ascorbic acid and propanediol. All in propanediol, 90% propanediol. Stop it! Stop the propanediol!
Oh God, we've lost Gloria. We've lost her.
Just, oh.
All right.
Anyway,
Arbutin.
So, why arbutin got its fame is because it is a structural cousin to hydroquinone. And since hydroquinone has regulatory shenanigans, people are like, the next best thing.
Let's just attach a sugar molecule to it.
Yeah, like add a tail, add a little hat, whatever, right?
Boom.
Yeah. So the funny thing is arbutin has this reputation of being a hydroquinone replacement almost, just because how similar it is, but there isn't nearly as much data on it compared to hydroquinone.
Let's just say we're not giving it the gold standard label just yet.
Yes. So there's a few different versions of arbutin. The most common one is alpha arbutin. And then there's also beta arbutin, which is so in the EU the regulation goes alpha you can use it at max at 2% and beta 7%. And then there's one more called deoxyarbutin, which you can sketchily buy on Amazon, but note that it is banned in the EU, mostly because it turns into hydroquinone. Considered very effective. We won't get into deoxy because you can't. It's hard to find it anyway.
We like to stick to the EU's safety guidelines. They usually champion. They're a lot more strict on it than the rest of the
Definitely
world.
very
so
vanilla.
We look to them for guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah. So with alpha and beta arbutin, what's interesting is, and this, it's gonna get very nerdy. But step one to a good anti-pigmentation product, and that goes for anything, any molecules and also any extracts. So licorice extract, mulberry, the ones that's known for this have all been through something called the tyrosinase inhibition test. So going back to nerdy biology, tyrosinase is an enzyme that kind of decides, it designate how fast your cells are producing melanin. So by slowing it down, telling it to take a chill pill. Yeah.
So think of it as it's like the controller, and it's what's gonna drive that melanin deposit. I guess that rate. Yeah.
So having tyrosinase inhibitor is like having a coworker smoking weed, popping in like, "What's the hurry, guys?"
Just going, soothe. Come here, lay down, have a moment. Let's just chill out here for a second.
Let's talk about meaning of life.
We're
for
not
a second.
speaking like we smoke weed.
Yeah, but arbutin, both alpha and beta have been through these tests. Now, the problem with all things science is, especially skin science, is sometimes there's different ways to do things, and there's not necessarily a consensus as to what is the best way to do it.
That's actually classic science.
Right.
Everything is exploratory. It requires a ton of experimentation and a lot of just like reinforcing, retesting to prove that data is actually true.
And fun fact, the first step of validating this ingredient being done on testing to see if it slows down tyrosinase, a lot of times it's they pull cells from mushrooms. So yeah, again, kind of goes back to our antioxidant episode. When you start with a test subject like a mushroom, does that effect translate to human skin? It's a bit of a leap of faith.
Exactly. We time and time again always talk about why in vitro data is just more of like a sniff test. It's like just to say, okay, does this actually even do anything? And then after that is when you do all the hard work to show that it makes its way down and actually targets tyrosinase. And also, you want to target the tyrosinase that's used in humans, you know?
Right, exactly. Arbutin, the problem is between alpha and beta, there's some conflicting data on which one's better.
Yeah.
We'll say the more common one, and the more common one that most brands put their money behind is alpha. But that's not to say beta doesn't do anything, because there are also tests that show beta does do something. And the good thing is, there is clinical evidence.
Yeah, and I was also going to mention, from what I believe, that in EU regulation, the concentration of alpha versus beta is different.
Yes, alpha is capped at 2% and beta is at 7%. And that's why you'll see the ordinary products capping it at 2%.
Yeah.
So I believe the good molecule has a 7% beta, but beta is not as popular in terms of products. So the good thing about arbutin is it has human clinical results. Like we said, there's a lot of things that's kind of paraded around as miracles, and it's only been studied on mushrooms. And good thing is that's not the case here. We did find a study that has all of our favorite words. So it is a randomized, placebo-controlled, double-blind trial involving 102 women.
Yes. Sorry.
That had pigmentation problems, and the study group, they divided into 54 each. They applied these products twice a day. The test product has a final concentration of 2.51% arbutin. But that's really interesting because it does end up going above the regulation percentage,
that's a good point,
but not by that much. So it gives us some indication. And then the great thing is we love studies are placebo controlled. So this study does have a placebo, and it showed that clinical improvement was observed in 76% of female patients with melasma and 56% of the patients with sunspots. So it indicates pretty positively that it does work compared to placebo. So definitely worthy of a try.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's like that great used alone though.
Yeah.
That's always my problem with it.
I think it's, again, like, I just sticking to like what we've said before, like the best approach is a cocktail approach. So definitely a green light for incorporating it into your routine, but don't let this be just the sole champion ingredient. Also, why can't you include AHAs? Come on. Like, everyone should have it at this point, like, you know. And so I think, I totally agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, so we're going to highlight a few products here that have arbutin in a combo. So definitely scope it out. Yeah. And know that if you see extracts like uva ursi extract, that's the extract that contains arbutin. So,
So here's my thing with extracts, though. Usually that means that it's a significantly less amount of arbutin. So is there, we kind of talk about how extracts are very difficult because the actual active concentration is unknown. You usually need a lot more, and the actual concentration of the extract is also hard to gauge. So I'm just curious if there's any advice for people who find uva ursi in their products.
So interestingly, planty stuff. There's quite a few that shows pretty good data on hyperpigmentation. Uva ursi is one. There's licorice root extract. Mulberry has some great data, and then there's bisabolol, which is derived from German chamomile
that we love.
We use. But the problem, as Victoria mentioned, a lot of it, it's hard to tell what kind of activity they're using it at, what's their sourcing. So for me, my take is always like, it's honestly great to have, but if that's the only active a product has, then...
So consider these as your secondary actives.
Right.
Awesome to find in your pigmentation products. Do not ride on that as don't gamble solely on that. And I also want to mention, like, if you do start looking into plant extracts for brightening or even pigmentation benefits, a lot of them are tested in cocktail as well. Like, for Bisabol, we love, but again, we also see that more as a secondary active to all your heavy hitters. So, again, reminder.
Right. So, again, this is a patient game, but it's also an active cocktails game. the reality is all these ingredients that we mentioned, tranexamic acid, ellagic acid, arbutin, kojic acid, all these extracts, you will find it in some random jumble combination somewhere, right? It's like that. It's kind of like when Monica was teaching Chandler. It's like there's sometimes you find a 1, 2, 3, a 3, 4, a 5, 7, 6, 7. You know?
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I was also gonna just like speak from personal experience, like when I feel like people who deal with acne, they're used to a much quicker timeline of like when an acne arises and when it goes away. Then you deal with the pigmentation part, and it is so frustrating because it takes so long to fade. And the best mentality is to set it and forget it. Set your routine, forget about it, and let it just like keep to that diligent routine and just let it, you know, do its thing and fade, you know. And so I think like that's kind of there's definitely like a behavioral part to this as well.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, both Gloria and I, we both deal with our own pigmentation problems, and as much as it might seem a long time, like it will be worth it in the end.
Yeah. And just want to highlight how redonkulous some of these cocktails get.
Yeah.
I found a great paper that goes, a novel cream formulation containing niacinamide of 4%, arbutin 3%, bisabolol 1%, retinol aldehyde at 0.05% for treatment of epidermal melasma. Yes, this highlights just throw things at it and see what happens.
Yeah. That's the truth.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Kind of to wrap up this meet, I hope it's a little helpful in terms of breaking down. We'll put this in blog format for everyone to reference. Just remember, patience is key.
Yeah.
Stick to your routine basics. And also, when you can't take it anymore, it is time to see a derm. Because now hydroquinone, tretinoin, like things that will get you that more visible results, even laser treatments, those are only available to you in office.
That's a great point. Awesome. So I think that's a great, you know, general picture of how to approach pigmentation. Hopefully that gives you an idea of at least step 1 of how to build your routine. And then, you know, definitely check out the blog to we'll kind of go into detail, and the book, and how to like layer past step 1, you know, and bring in all these other actives because you got to build that cocktail.
Right.
Awesome. All right, so that's the meat.
Oh, that was the meat. I'm done.
That was the meat.
Yay, we're done.
All right, awesome. So next thing, it is time to
break it up. Break it up.
Break it up. Yeah.
Big burger. Woo.
This is tall boy. Excellent. It's also Friday, so we're very happy today. This time, it's my turn. And today, I would like to talk about the humble beaver.
No.
You don't like beavers? All right. It's I really enjoyed this one, guys.
Okay.
I just want to say, okay, so we're gonna keep it simple today with a good old beaver.
Sorry.
Oh God, this is why we're friends, guys. So you might have heard the term eager beaver, and that's actually because it's coined because they're such hard workers. They spend all day cutting down trees, creating their dams, and just building their homes, at which the term is a beaver lodge. And
that's adorable. I would like a vacation beaver lodge.
Actually, though, because I learned that, you know, they actually live like a semi-aquatic existence. Like they actually have a membrane that they can cover their eyes so that they can swim. Their nostrils, they actually can close it just so that they're better swimmers. And the other unique thing is that their lodges are actually quite complex. All of them will have a back door that gives them direct access to water. So it's like as if they have a swimming pool.
That's adorable.
They'll dig canals to make sure that they can bring in water into their homes so they have fresh water access. So pretty developed architecture for the humble beaver. And I actually got really curious and I Googled biggest beaver dam in the world. And it's actually amazingly so big that you can see it on Google World.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can see it. There's like satellite images. And the biggest dam is actually in Canada's Wood Buffalo National Park in Alberta. The beavers had built lodges nearby, and then it just slowly morphed into this giant beaver kingdom. The lodge is half a mile long, and and it's speculated to have been around since 1970s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so literally there is a beaver town. And so...
we're going to Beaver Town.
Oh, we're so lame. Okay. So, so the problem is these rodents are actually too hardworking, and they've actually recently made the news because they are actually a complete menace to the human habitat. In fact, what's funny is they've caused quite a commotion in Canada, even though that's Canada's national animal. And so in recent headlines, you'll find that they've been stealing wood fences during COVID.
Oh no!
Which is actually terrible because if any of you are doing like home improvement projects right now, you'll know that lumber is really
so
expensive. They've actually caused a 12-hour internet power outage by chewing through like really thick internet cables.
Oh my god.
And the funniest thing is they found they had stolen the tape from this the internet company and had used it to like line their dam. Yeah,
that's too smart.
It's too smart. Yeah, and then apparently, just last month, the Quebec town of Grenville-sur-la-Rouge is what it's called. They actually called to eradicate their population of beavers. After apparently there were 200 dams that were built on a nearby waterway and flooded over 30 square kilometers of the town underwater.
Oh my god!
Like, that is how good they are at their job.
God.
And so and it's so funny because these people, they feel so bad. They're like, yeah, this just feels really wrong. You know, it's like, but at the same time, they're like, they're menace. They literally are drowning our town. And apparently that's an annual problem. They've actually spent yearly, Canada will spend millions fixing damages just from beavers.
Wow.
So if you talk about Canada's definitely got its own set of problems. But to be fair, they actually have a profound effect on ecosystems. Their dams actually restore valuable wetlands. They actually recharge groundwater. They filter out sediment, nitrogen, and phosphorus, and they actually do create havens for, the aquatic life for fish and frogs. So anyways, I just had to share the eager beaver, this very humble rodent, is giving Canada the middle finger.
I just want to meet the one that discovered how to use electrical tape. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, Bob, you're not gonna believe what I found today.
This is amazing. Our dam is
Life-changing.
gonna be epic.
I'm gonna flood that motherfucking down.
Oh, yeah. So, the beaver.
Yay, beavers.
Beaver. All right. If you've got an animal story you'd like to share, please send it our way.
Let us know.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
So that's...
Do we ever shoot the floaty?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
We have to talk
yeah.
about that next
Speaking
time.
of animal
let's
sharing,
do it.
we have a story for you next time that our friend shared with us. We totally
Yes.
forgot about it, but we'll add it to next episode. Yeah.
For sure. All right, cool. And we're going to wrap this up because we want to get out of here. We're going to wrap up with a Q&A. Just a couple questions we've recently gotten through our blog, Instagram. People write to us. So first question is, when we combine BHA and other serums, does the pH level of the BHA product affect the efficacy, since optimally it stays at 3.5?
Great question. And as we mentioned, we understand that there's a lot of people get very enthused talking about pH, how to keep it optimal, and this and that. We ourselves think it's a little overblown. pH is important, but it's just one factor to it. If you put something pH of 5 after your pH of 3.5 BHA, you're not going to neutralize it. And our perspective comes from two angles.
Yeah.
One is, it takes your skin 2 hours to recalibrate pH, so no one's waiting 2 hours to layer. And two is, when they do clinical studies, no one is monitoring when you're applying the BHA.
Not even a little bit.
What you're laying afterwards. So, and it still works. So it just shows that it is such a minor point. So,
And I was also going to add, because BHA, of all the acids, the chemical exfoliants, pH we care about the least. Because in reality, a lot of times, like, it's perfectly happy sitting at pH of 5, so I wouldn't really worry too much, especially for BHA. All right, next question. Number 2, am I correct in thinking a toner would help correct or bring skin back from an acidic state, such as a post-home peel? What would you say would help counteract a product with high pH? Say you get stuck using the complimentary hotel soap bar, what would get you back towards 5? So another pH question. I just want to preface, we did kind of a series. Gloria put together a nice guide on like pH, just this general topic, and almost like this... I would say like almost researcher mentality and like being very careful with pH, just to like calm everyone's fears. Yeah.
So toners, it depends. Toner is a broad category. If it's like a glycolic acid toner, then yes, it can help bring your skin back down to an acidic state. Your skin is naturally around pH of 5. Home peels are typically around like a pH of 3.5.
They
shouldn't be that much lower than
they
that.
They should be.
Hotel soap bars, we're talking about pH of 9, 10. So how do we, after applying products, do we have to, and how do we bring them back down to, back to about 5-ish? So I would say slightly acidic states, I don't want to really worry too much about it. It will self-correct. And also there's a lot of studies on acidifying the acid mantle for a while, and it's as far as I've seen in research papers, none of it's shown problems, and because it doesn't stay there that long, and it's only shown benefits and not so much cons. So I wouldn't worry too much about home peels. It is true that in-office peels you have to neutralize, but that's because it's a pH of 1.
You don't want that to sit on your skin for very long.
Right.
Yeah. And personal anecdote, I have definitely used a hotel soap bar because I forget my cleanser. If your skin is normal, healthy, generally healthy, not compromised, you'll be fine. Skin is also, it's meant to be a barrier. It's supposed to be resilient. It has its way of calibrating back to its normal pH, just as Gloria mentioned. So I wouldn't worry too much. Again, if that's like, if that's abnormal from your actual cleansing routine, follow up with a moisturizer, stick to your general routine. And also just want to remind people, we talked about cleansers before. One study actually wanted to compare people who use a soap-based cleanser versus, a more acidic pH, and found that skin was normal, just to calm your fears. So one day of using a soap, a hotel soap bar is going to be just fine. So,
yeah. And if you're really worried, a basic glycolic toner will do the job just fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So that's
a normal length episode.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we're ready to go. What are we?
So what are we talking about next time, Victoria?
You know what? It's fall. Its seasons are changing. I think it's time for Gloria. Did I say Gloria? I'm sorry. I think it's time for Gloria to do her spiel on dry skin.
No. Okay. Well, if you have anything else you want us to talk about.
Also, so Victoria can just chill here.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know where to find us?
You can find us at chemistconfessions.com, on Instagram at chemist.confessions, or leave a comment. We usually get back to you. It's just the two of us answering inbox, so
give us a couple days. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you have any questions, we always want to help you, especially build your routines. Otherwise, enjoy, guys, and thanks for watching.